to check that we're. Oh, it says we're live.
We're live.
Everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon, and I'm joined by Tom. I literally was doing that as if you were there. So if I could Tom was just there, and also my mother, Louise. Now I'm just going to check. We are live. Don't know what's. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Oh, I've done something funny. I was getting people's comments to show live. So I'm going to check what's going on. But how are you both? Tell me how you are while I check that we are really live.
How are you, Louise?
I'm absolutely marvellous. I can't believe the weather. I've just been mowing my lawn. What could be better?
Have you got nice weather?
Beautiful. Yeah.
See, it's quite sunny here, but it's freezing cold.
Oh,
I think that the wind doesn't really help because we're in the fens, which is very flat. But everything just sweeps across and makes everything feel quite cold.
Yeah. It was like that.
Live, by the way, we are live. It's official. We're live, and there's suddenly a lot of people telling us we're live.
Yeah, lots of hellos. It's lovely.
So, what have you been up to today, both of you? Obviously, it's super sunny, but a bit cold where you are, Tom. What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? Oh, I took the dogs for Mark and I took the dogs for a lovely walk around a nature reserve that's local to us, which was very nice. I saw a Labrador in a pram, and it took everything in my power not to steal it.
Pram?
The guy, in like a pram, I said, "Oh, Mark said to the guy, "Oh, someone's having a nice time." And he was like, "Mm-hmm," as if it was the most normal thing in the world.
Oh
wow! So that was the highlight of my day. How about you, Simon? What have you been doing?
We've been to a farm shop,
which
was lovely, and Chris is starting a cooking channel, so that's kind of cooking out of one cookbook per week and doing like 4 or 5 dishes. So he's starting with Table Manners, which is the Jessie Ware and Lenny Ware podcast cookbook. So we went to that, and then we went to a garden centre and bought a very nice magnolia.
I think there's a play called Table Manners.
Is there?
Alan Ayckbourn.
Oh, I don't know.
I could be wrong.
And also yesterday I had a lovely time because I saw my mother in her garden.
Oh, it was just lovely. I'm trying to work out when we'd last seen each other. Was it the end of the summer?
No, it was before Christmas. Anyway, enough of that. Book HiBearNation. So first of all, lots of hellos to lots and lots of people. Somebody said it was perfect because we've all got cheerful weather, which is very true and very apt. So we have been reading for Spring Hibernation all week. There's still a day to go tomorrow, so don't feel like this is the end. I'll put my wrap up tomorrow. But I thought we had a chat, and we thought what we'd do is have a chat about how our reading weeks have been. Then we can chat about cheerful weather for the wedding, and then chat about anything else that you'd like us to chat about for the last 15 minutes or so, if that's all right with everyone else.
He says no.
No, sorry, that's not okay.
Well, first, what's your reading week been like so far, Mum?
It's been brilliant. I've absolutely loved it, and I've really loved sharing things on Instagram about it as well. It's really nice to feel very much part of what's happening. So that's been brilliant. Do you want me to talk about the books I've read?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Tell us your reading journey this week. What's
my reading journey? Well, my reading journey started off with this, which I read last Saturday morning. I read it all in one go, which is really, really unusual for me. It's called The Order of the Day by Eric Vuillard, and it's a translation from French. I think it's French. And it's one of the most amazing books I've ever read. It's really, really unusual, and I think it's really clever. And I think if you're remotely interested in the Second World War, remotely interested in politics, it's so clever. So it starts off with a group of businessmen having a meeting in the 1930s in Germany, and they're all kind of firms that you've heard of. And it then sort of each chapter is a snapshot of something to do either with the rise of Hitler or his time in power. And it just, what it does really cleverly is it unpicks the idea that we are all implicated, not just the Germans or the Nazis. Well, I should say the Nazis first, shouldn't I? Not the Germans. That's really fair. But it shows how those ripples. There's a lot in here about Chamberlain. So yeah, if you're interested in history, if you're interested in the idea of historical bias or politics, I think you really like this, and it's such a quick read, and I almost want to sit and read it again now, which again is very unusual for me. Yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, enough. Quickly just say, Jenny Loves Books has read 3 books so far, including the group read, and plans to finish 1 more by tomorrow night. Sorry, Mum. What did you read next?
So I'm still reading it. I'm absolutely loving it, but I had to stop it to read the group read. So it's Maggie O'Farrell, Instructions for a Heat Wave. Oh my God, it's just full of fantastic characters, so real. I've been to New York, I'm in London, I'm all over the place. And there's this fantastic character in it called Aoife, who can't read. And I'm finding that very, very interesting. So yeah, I couldn't recommend this highly enough. I think, again, another brilliant book.
And Heather says that she thinks that she's going to get through all but 1 prompt by the end of the day tomorrow, but at least part of the last prompt tomorrow, so that's good. And Gillian says, made a poor choice for my funny book. It wasn't funny. It was David Mitchell's book with a collection of his columns. Very funny man, not funny columns.
Oh dear. How disappointing when you're expecting to read a funny book.
And then, Mum, what else? So obviously you read the group read. Is that where you went to first?
Yeah, that was it. So yeah, because if you remember, I kind of cheated, and each of my books was about 4 different prompts in one go.
Cheating.
Oh, I know, but it feels like it.
It doesn't. Don't feel like that, Louise, my mother. Sometimes I don't know what to call her anymore. It's Mum or Louise. It depends on the sentence.
Depends on how sarcastic you're being, usually.
Tom, what about you?
Well, I started out reading the group read, which we'll talk about later. So I won't talk about that too much now. So I started out reading the group read, and then I went on to Jason and Medea.
Oh,
I spoke about a little bit last time because I read this because it's only tiny. It's like 45-50 pages, this version of it. So yeah, I read Jason and Medea. Really, really loved it. Loved to learn the kind of differences between this and the Jason and Medea part of the Jason and the Argonauts film. So yeah, really, really liked that. And I'm really liking more of these kind of small black classics, because they're just, I used to use them as palette cleansers, but now they're just like nice, short, sharp things that you can read in one sitting. So loved that. Then I read The Great Fire of London, which was the 5-word prompt by Samuel Pepys. But I found the part, this is kind of split into a couple of parts. The bit with the fire in it is really good. It's really interesting. But the rest of it is him just saying, I got up, I had a wonderful, gorgeous breakfast. I went over there to see some duke, then I popped over here to see some earl, and then I went to church, and then I had a gorgeous dinner, drunk some wine, and then went to bed again. And that's pretty much every day. I mean, he's living the life that I basically want to live. But yeah, the bit with
Tom, wait till you get the bit. If you read the whole thing, he ends up with stones, kidney stones or gallstones. I can't remember. Of course, they can't do much about it these days. You don't want to live that life.
Well, no. I mean, my greatest wish in life is to develop gout through extreme eating. And that's kind of what I want. That's the life I want to live. So I did like that. The beginning bit was a bit like, okay, how many more dukes are you going to go and have breakfast with? But yeah, I did like it. Then I read the funny book, which was Kunk on Everything by Philomena Kunk / Diane Morgan. And I just think it's brilliant. It's so good. It's so good. I mean, she's got a foreword in this book, and it just sets the tone for the rest of it. Can I read? It's literally 2 sentences. Can I read it? So this is the foreword of this book by Professor Rupert Delgado, MBE. And he says, "I'm rather afraid to say that I do not know the author to whom you refer, since I seldom look at the television. But these samples you have sent me are an absolute disgrace. I shall not be contributing a forward to this book, and I'm happy for you to quote me on that. Never contact me again." I just thought it was brilliant. I haven't read the whole thing. I got up to about K, I think. I mean, I when I read it before, I'd only got up to like B, but it's so funny. Loved it. And there are two books that I haven't got to on my TBR yet. One of which I'm hoping to get to tomorrow, and that's the weather prompt, which is It Was Snowing Butterflies by Charles Darwin. And the other one was Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell, which is a bit of a chunkster, so I'm probably not going to get around to reading any more of that.
Well, I'm just going through the comments, and I can't work out how to go lower and higher, so this is going to be fun. I can't work out how to use the dashboard on this.
Well, while you're working it out, Simon, there's somebody, Miss Vix Reads, has said we found Wigs on the Green.
Oh, by Nancy Mitford.
The title, is that a Mitford one?
Yeah, she's brilliant, Nancy Mitford.
Right, she found that funny. So there you go. That's a recommendation.
I'm on it. So Desiree is currently reading the novella, her 5th read. Sadly not the Greek read, but she couldn't get it from her library. Don't worry, it doesn't matter. You did amazing to read that much. Then we've got Athen Vixen is her 4th so far in a film, and should finish the 5th tomorrow. People have done amazingly. Janie Edwards managed 3 2/3, but ditching the last one, Here I Am by Jonathan Safran Foer. Janelle is reading A Net for Small Fishes, which she's going to finish tonight, because he's going to give her a book hangover. It's a very good book. It's like Thelma and Louise in the 1700s.
Oh.
And it's based on true story. I don't know what's happening. Mum's got sunbeams coming through.
Oh, sorry. You want me to...
Can you see Louise? Is she there? It's sunbeams or a disco ball. I don't know what's going on.
Is that any better?
Well, I can't see you at all. No.
Right, I'm just going to get up. Apologies, everybody.
I'll carry on with comments while we're doing that. So what was I going to say? Liz has got 2 hours of audiobook left, and then she's going to read all of the reading prompts, which is brilliant.
Oh wow!
Janie is ditching the final of the 4 choices, as she's not read Hamlet yet and wants to before Monday's live with Maggie. Miss Fix Read is reading Clara and the Sun, and lots of people are saying that they definitely don't want kidney stones, so that's good. Right, I'm going to go through what I did. So first of all, I read the group read, which me and Mum have reenacted on Instagram today. Tom is doing it tomorrow, so look out for that on our Instagrams. Then the novella I read was Open Water by Khalib Azuma Nelson, which I enjoyed the first 2/3 of amazingly, and then the last third, I think it needed to be a bit longer. That's all I'll say. Then I started but failed with Elena Ferrante again. I don't know if it's the writing or whether I wasn't in the right mood, because the theme was very similar to the short stories that I was reading. But I switched to a book that you're going to want to read, I know for definite, Mum, which is The Son of the House, which is set in Nigeria. This isn't out until May, but it's set in Nigeria, and it's about 2 women in the 1970s who are they've been kidnapped and they're in a basement, and they start to tell each other their stories, and it's really, really, really interesting. So I recommend that.
Good.
I was going to read Dawn French. I was going to read Dawn French for the French voice, but I didn't get around to it. But I did read What's the Tea by Juno Dawson, or listen to it on audio for what day is it? Trans Day of Visibility, and it is so funny as well as informative that I think this counts as a funny read, because her asides as she's reading it to you are just ridiculous. Like, she'll be like, when she's trying to explain a really, really she'll be explaining something, she'll go, so thanks for that thought, Barbara from Cambridge. But it's all just very, very daft as it goes through. Really, really makes you think. And then I did finish Milk, Blood and Heat, which was my book with yellow on the cover, which is short stories. And these are amazing. I think this is going to be one of my favourite short story collections of the year. They're all very dark. They're all quite triggering potentially, but they are absolutely phenomenal. And I haven't done the weather one, but I think I'm going to switch, and I'm not going to read this weekend. I think what I'm going to do is read that instead, which is...
What is it? Oh, it's like you're doing a me.
It's Kazuo Ishiguro's Come Rain or Come Shine, which I think is also a 5-word title. Anyway, it's 69 very tiny pages, but it'll make me feel like I'm a completist and a swot. So that's what I'm going to do. So I think I've managed all the prompts. But do you know what's really nice though? I'll tell you one thing this week has taught me. I don't know if it's the same for you. It's very hard to count large words.
Well,
I think it is.
We've really struggled with this right since the beginning, haven't we? I mean, you know, we're clearly readers, not mathematicians. You have to be a mathematician to count to 5. This is what we've learned.
Well, no, because every time I do it, I'm like, oh, there's a 5-letter word. And I'm like, no, I think that's 4. Oh, no, maybe it's 6. And like, even when I'm holding them up now, I'm like, is that 5? I don't know what it is. There's something about 5 I find very difficult to count to.
I mean, I literally have to count it on my fingers.
I don't do the fingers, but I've been doing it with nods. So I'll be like, careful weather for the wedding.
You might end up doing syllables then.
Yeah.
No, oh yeah, you could fall into that. We've had a couple of people, by the way, that it's their first book hibernation so far, and they loved having the prompts, and they would have, and a few of them said they've chosen books they would never have got round to otherwise, which I have to say I agree with. This also, because we can talk about this, I guess, shortly, has reminded me how much I enjoy Persephone books and how I have got a lot of them and I have not read a lot of them. So shall we talk about the group read?
Go on then.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I mean, I can say what I thought.
Go for it.
Which is this. So I haven't actually really read anything like this before. I certainly haven't read anything of this sort of time period before. I'm either Victorian or like current modern fiction, and I don't really have much in between. So this is quite interesting to read this. I found it very funny, and I thought this is going to be like funny and light and stuff at the beginning, and then I mean, I don't know how much of the ending we should give away because people might still be reading it up until tomorrow, but it takes a bit of a turn, I think.
It does. I think we can say that. I think we could definitely say it takes a turn.
It takes a turn, and I wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh, hang on, I'm going to need to pay attention to this because this is just a light and fluffy, the kind of light and fluffy read that I thought it was going to be, with these kind of some of the, you know, caricatured characters that I could see, especially in the sister and the mother. It's been a week since I've read it, so I've forgotten all of their names. But yeah, what did everyone else think?
Mum?
Yeah, I enjoyed reading it. I'm very glad I've read it. I think it feels very dated, you know, but that's part of its charm, I suppose. I think that's how I describe it. I think it's charming. I think I think she can really write. You know, I really enjoyed her writing style and the way that she creates those stereotypes, caricatures, whatever they are, and the whole sort of, who doesn't love a load of bustle around a wedding? You know, I think, and the sort of the comings and goings in the different rooms and what was going on upstairs and downstairs, and yeah, I found that really lively and entertaining. And as you say, it wasn't a plot twist exactly, was it? But I thought that was clever. Did not see that coming at all. Not going to say what it is. So yeah, I think, you know, on balance, I found it really entertaining, charming, and fun. I didn't find it funny particularly. I wasn't.
No, I don't think I found it like belly laugh funny.
No,
I found some of it witty. I think is
yeah,
or what I would say. Yeah.
There were a few bits that I did find, like there were some nice jokes that I liked, you know, with the mother who's obsessed with how many counties she can see out the window and whether that means it's a good day, and those lovely repetitive things I enjoyed. I think for me, I found it a mixed bag. I enjoyed it while I read it. I don't think I'm going to remember it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks necessarily. I'll probably remember the twist, but I still am not sure if the twist was real or not. I couldn't quite fathom whether it was, because it all centers around someone just getting very angry and saying things that I couldn't work out whether they were true or not.
Yeah.
But I felt, and this is something that I have a lot, where to me this could have been a short story or actually a bit of a longer novel. I found the length a bit tricky because I felt like I didn't get to know the characters enough until this big reveal when lots of secrets were spilled. And I didn't feel like the tension was built up enough. But I know, and lots of people are saying that they listened to Miriam Margolyes read it, and I listened to a sample of that, and it was brilliantly done. But I also think the film, which I'm going to watch tomorrow afternoon, actually, because it's on a certain website we don't like to speak of, Prime, but basically you can watch it for free there. And it's apparently, I think, a lot more jolly than the book.
Gillian Bridges, Simon, has just commented that she really liked the bottle of rum up the sleeve.
Yes.
And I thought that was superb. I'm absolutely with you on that one, Gillian.
Also, the things, I like the fact that things did go wrong. But I mean, I will say, and Mum will attest to this, that the thing with hustle and bustles around weddings, I still think I'm in some sort of recovery from how stressful my second marriage was, because it was a full-on time. It's probably an understatement. I think I cried for about a week in the lead up to it. Not because I wasn't happy about getting married. I was very happy about getting married, but just lots of things went wrong. And I think that for me, it sounds really silly to be like, well, their problems are nothing compared to. But I did have a little bit of that and a bit of a oh, I don't want to think about weddings too much. So that was a little bit of something I will say. Liz Alva said she didn't know there was a film. There is indeed. Enid agrees with you, Mum, about the under the sleeve, rum up the sleeve. Yeah. But also, I think as well, I did like. She's very good at, in very few words, you understanding the dynamics between people very quickly. So I thought that was very good.
I think that you see that in the you see that very clearly in the two brothers, don't you? I think they were brothers. Again, it's been a week since I read it. About talking about their arguments with the socks and things like that.
Yeah,
you understand their dynamic very quickly. But I mean, I get going back to your point, Simon, about it feeling like it could have been a longer novel, and I think there are some absolutely cracking characters and some cracking dynamics in there that you kind of want to know how they got there and also what's going to happen afterwards. Like the brothers, it's quite, because that for me that they just sort of fizzled out, and then and then the sister, kind of what's happening there and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think there's definitely dynamics and relationships between the characters I would like to have read more about, really.
Yeah, but that I think is a compliment, and I think, you know, I don't say it as in, oh, I didn't like it, it needs to be longer. It's more like, oh, I enjoyed it, but I would have enjoyed it even more if it had been longer. I think the other thing, and I've noticed some people have mentioned that the mother in the book, Liz Say, reminded me of the Featherington mum in Bridgerton, and I can see that there is that period of high drama to it all. And people are saying that they enjoyed the side character more than the plot itself. Oh yeah, Miss Vix has made the point. We need to know what happens to the tortoise.
Yes.
I love the way she decides she's taking a tortoise on holiday. Oh, we're taking the tortoise.
But also, there were little moments like that I thought were really interesting, where like Dolly's husband to be there was just in a line about how his reaction to the tortoise showed his personality, and I was a bit like, oh, she's married a wrong one.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the thing, and I think it's really hard when something's that length. I genuinely think short stories and novellas are really tough, because that end point and leaving people satisfied is really hard to do. There's very few writers that I think can do it amazingly.
And actually, I completely forgot about one of the books that I actually read for Book Club Russian, the novella, which was apparently I was told off last time because it's not a novella, but it was Brokeback Mountain, and that took you on that in a very short amount of time, took you on such a massive journey, and it had just the most brilliant, soul crushing ending. So yeah, that's enough about it.
But I think that does count as a novella. So, you know, and it was our rules.
And I'll read what I want. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. No policing here. Thank you very much indeed. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I think Vixen says they cover that in the film, but I'm not sure which bit they cover in the film, whether it's the tortoise or marrying the wrong one, or yeah. But a lot of people were very worried about that tortoise. In my head, I'm now going to say that's the tortoise that Chris's mum and dad has, because she is 122, so it could be possible that that's the tortoise they own, and she's fine. She's just missing one leg, but she can still move like the clappers. So I've never read Brokeback Mountain, and I've always wanted to.
It's so good. It's so good. You can read it in an hour. It's so good.
I love the film.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's just brilliant, and the film was very true to it. Yeah, it's just brilliant. One of my faves of the year so far.
So if people have any questions about the book choice, no spoilers, feel free to put them in the comments. Also, if you've got any questions or just want to let us know what you read, etc., if we've missed it, let us know that as well. I can't believe how quickly the week's gone, is what I will say.
I know.
But also, I don't know if you're the same, but there's part of me now that's like, what would I like summer prompts to be? Instantly moving on to the next one.
As long as you don't have to count, I think.
Yeah, I think that's best avoided.
We won't be doing that again. But with a cover, and you've got there we go. And lots of people are agreeing about Brokeback Mountain being incredible. Cindy's just said that too. What has been, out of all the ones you read this week, your favourite?
Ooh, that's hard. I can't choose between the Maggie O'Farrell and the Order of the Day because they're both so different. But it's not a fair choice. So
she won't do it.
I won't do it. But I would say that both of them probably are preferred to the group read.
Yes, that's true. Miss Fix Reads has just said one-word titles could be manageable.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, don't put it past not to be able to catch the fun.
Bleeding Reads read The Return of the Native, The Vegetarian, and The Remains of the Day. 3 very different books.
Cracking.
Always wanted to read The Remains of the Day.
That's my favourite Hardy.
I loved The Vegetarian.
I like The Vegetarian a lot. Oh, this is promising. Cindy's just said that her favourite read of the last week was this.
Oh.
Nothing But Blue Sky, which I will be reading very soon. I think the reason that I couldn't read this is because I decided I wanted to read all the women's prize books in order of author, and it was really bothering me that I couldn't stick to that rule by reading this. And like me and Mum have said before, I'm not big on rules. I normally don't mind breaking a few. So yeah, like the fact that technically the farm shop that I went to today was in Wales, but don't tell anyone. Keep that just between us. So what was the other thing I was going to say? Other people's favourites were Half of Yellow Sun, We've Always Lived in the Castle.
Oh, I want to read that.
I love Shirley Jackson. Somebody's just asked the question, is The Vegetarian erotic? It's putting me off in case it is. It's not erotic. It's very much about women being controlled and not in a sexual way.
I think I've got 2 favourites.
Oh, go on.
I think I've got, for different reasons, Brokeback Mountain, because I just loved it, the writing, and what she did in such a short amount of words was just mind-blowing. And the other was Jason and Medea, because I feel like it gave me a truer version of this story than, because I loved this story, but I had a different version of it in my head from the film. So that
Wow, there we go. Tom's looking up HRH. I read Gilead. So I just don't want to talk about it.
Can you read it in half an hour?
I read it very quickly and I enjoyed it very much. Thank you. That's why I do Gilead. Could have been shorter. So yeah, but what else? And what have you got lined up for the rest of the bank holiday weekends? Because obviously here in the UK we're off on Monday as well. I just don't know actually generally at the moment what day of the week it is.
I love that feeling.
I don't.
I like it.
It makes me
Well,
feel very
yeah.
discombobulated.
Well, what am I up to for the rest of the weekend? I honestly have no plans. Probably I'm gonna create my book cover for tomorrow, which is gonna be a right laugh. And then I don't know what else really. Just relaxing. Nothing. Oh God, I really hope Mark doesn't try and get me down the allotment. Now I've said that. Last weekend he had me out there putting together some kind of metal shed in the wind and the cold, and it was the worst 3 hours of my life.
We're on a list to get an allotment, and I'm hoping they've done this thing where people had to respond in 24 hours by email if they still wanted.
Please don't, Simon. Don't get an allotment, because you'll. What I thought was that you get an allotment and you arrive and it's beautiful and it's already full of an abundance of produce that you can just go with a little straw hat and a straw basket and pick like your kale and your cherry tomatoes and things. But it's not. It's a wasteland that you have to do yourself, and that's not something to do.
Oh no, we quite fancy it because we've got, like, Chris loves doing the garden and everything, but there's an allotment literally 2 roads away from us it looks all right. But I'd quite like to grow my own stuff.
Yeah. You mean like Chris to grow your own stuff for you?
How dare you, Louise? Who is this woman who's joined us on this live event? I don't know who she is.
False.
So people are saying, oh yes, let other people let us know what you're doing over the next few days. Kay Dewey, who I think it was Kay Dewey who did the amazing Barbie doll cover of the enactment of the book. She said that she was doing some gardening and cooking a duck, which is slightly traumatic for me as having had a pet duck called Rapunzel in my life. Some people are, Blendon Reads is roasting a lamb and watching the Lord of the Rings. I'm losing people again. I'm trying to find them again. I'm trying to go through and see what I can find from everybody.
Miss Vix Reed says Tom wants to be a rich Victorian lady, I think. Yes. That's right on the money.
I don't think she would even need to be rich necessarily. I think Tom would just like to be a Victorian lady.
She would need to be rich.
Oh, okay. Right, well, that's clear. Other people are saying that Tom's kissing up to Louise. Yes, I think so too, with all these classics.
Oh, yeah.
And Tom agrees. People are very much looking forward to Tom's reenactment of the cover of the book. Oh, sorry, KG was planting sweet peas and cooking a duck. Hopefully not at the same time. Fiona McGallion is watching Drag Race tonight. I've already watched it. It's a very good episode. I think we're going to watch, there's a film on Netflix called Run with Sarah Paulson, who I love, playing a psychopathic mother. So that may chime me. I may find that quite chiming. And like therapeutic.
Me too. If anyone's seen my mum on my channel, I think.
Oh, your mum is hilarious. Honestly, she's an absolute joy. What other people are reading?
Someone said, I think it was, I can't remember who it was, but I think it was Amy Louise, said that they'd finished Turn of the Screw, but it was a reread. Yeah, it was Amy Louise. We finished reading the Turn of the Screw, and it was a reread. They enjoyed it more this time around. I love that book.
Oh,
so good.
What's somebody saying they're currently reading? Oh, sorry, that's me. What's somebody doing? People got an egg hunt. Egg hunt is a little bit of a wrong for me. I didn't get an advent calendar last year, which I was quite upset about, and I'm still slightly sore about. And I've now found out that I don't have an Easter egg.
Uh-oh.
And they've all sold out around the world, everywhere. Don't want to think about it. So that's upsetting me.
You
what? Sorry,
I ate my Easter egg yesterday. Couldn't wait.
The thing is, I say this like I'm upset. I have a mini egg tin of mini eggs, so I shouldn't really be complaining at all.
Right, just lift it up.
Julie Wone is watching football, going on a hike, and starting reading Open Water. Gail Gilchrist has just said Louise perked up at the mention of the psychopathic mother.
Oh.
Don't know whether it's perked up or just suddenly was alert.
Yeah, I just came to, obviously.
Suze Prime is watching King Kong versus Godzilla, probably an amazing cook. Do you know what? I have to, Godzilla, I cried during Godzilla at the cinema, and Krista around me was like, what's wrong with you? And amid tears, I just turned to him and said, he only wants to help. Got far too involved. So after book hibernation is finished, or sorry, actually no, what are you planning to do with rounding up your reads tomorrow? That's what I wanted to ask.
Well, I'm going to finish my Maggie O'Farrell and move on to another one because I'm having an O'Farrell fest in yeah, really looking forward to that.
Tom?
So I'll be posting my cover, and then once I finish, I'm hoping to start and finish. It was Snowing Butterflies by Charles Darwin, which is the 5-word prompt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I'm going to be finishing that, and then I'm going to do a bit of a roundup on the old Instagram.
Oh, lovely.
About what I've read, and invite everyone to talk about what they've been reading as well, because I did a thing in the middle of the week asking people what they've been reading, and there was some such breadth of stuff that people are reading, some absolute classics and some stuff I'd never heard of before, a lot of talk of Clara and the Sun. So yeah, I'm gonna do something similar probably.
I think I'm gonna try and read Come Rain or Come Shine, because that way I've done the weather prompt and then I've done them all technically, even though a couple of them were accidental reads that I didn't realise would fit the prompts. But I want to just say, how brilliant it's been seeing on Instagram, so many people doing their TBRs or saying where they're at with what they're reading, and that's been a real, real joy. It really, really, it kind of adds to the buzz of it all. And also, if any people have got any thoughts on what they'd like to see in book hibernations to come, assuming that Mum and Tom still want to do one this summer, and potentially one in the autumn, and potentially one in the winter, and then the spring next year, and then the summer the year after, and the winter. This is basically an Audible contract that I'm now writing you into.
Best of luck with that.
He's absolutely had enough. Well, I still want us to do with the summer one. I want us to do it at Mum's house.
That sounds like a good plan.
When is summer? Because in my head, summer is June, July, August. Is that everyone else's understanding of summer? Oh no, or is June, July, August.
Yeah, that's right. September, October, November's autumn.
Autumn.
Yeah.
See, look at us. Numbers.
Seasons.
Going great. No, it's but it is. I love it, and I think it's like people have said, and like Mum said before, that it's the fact that you get to shop your shelves and you get to kind of look at your books that you have on your list in a different way than you might normally, or and I'm quite chuffed because I haven't bought anything to read for this one, which sometimes I do fall into the habit of doing, but that's not a bad thing. So yeah, I think maybe we could do something. Well, the UK opens up properly, doesn't it? Potentially from the 21st of June. So that's when we can swing by the Louise Savage's second home in the garden.
There was someone asking about the stone circle in the garden.
Oh yes, Mum's got a stone circle in the garden.
Stonehenge.
We used to live on the road to Stonehenge.
We did.
And yeah, when we moved here, we wanted a little tribute to it, and there happened to be some massive rocks, huge rocks. So we had a rock and roll party. We provided the food and beer, and friends came and helped roll these huge stones so that they made a circle. I think the local
Oh, mummy, funny.
Is that me?
No, Mike. Tom, have you got your mic covered up? Yes, because can't hear him.
There we are. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
But now look at that. It's Honey, I Shrunk the Tom.
I know. Just like...
I feel like a giant Tess.
Hang on. There we are.
Oh, there we go.
Better.
Oh, there it is. What were we saying? I
Stone
forgot.
circle.
The stone circle.
Yeah.
So that's why. Oh, people saying they wondered if it had to do with Stonehenge. But you have a fire in it every so often, don't you?
Sorry, I missed that.
You have a nice fire in it every so often, don't you?
Oh yeah, in the middle. Yeah.
So it's a good garden.
I think we've one of the biggest questions that has clearly come out of spring book hibernation this time, and that I feel like we skirted over a bit earlier, but I really feel like we should address, is when is Chris launching his cooking channel?
Well, the cooking is happening this week, so
right.
The filming will happen this week, and then we'll see how long it takes to edit. Because I think it's quite hard when you have somebody who's very much insistent on nitpicking it very much. Who's
that, Chris or you?
Yeah.
Which one?
Mechanism.
It is, but it's also like, I don't know. I think he doesn't see how funny he is sometimes. He'll watch it back and cringe, whereas I think it's hilarious and think that other people will find it funny. So I think we're just going to have to balance that. That's going to be a balance. But, you know, yeah, hopefully in the next couple of weeks is the aim. And I think it's going to be, the channel's going to be Savage Cooks or Savage Bakes. We're not quite sure which one it'll be. But basically, I'm increasing the Savage Empire. Is what's
offshoots, spin-offs.
So at some point, Mum will have a Savage Garden channel. Oh, like the band. Savage Gardens.
We got Savage singing and all.
So yeah, no. So I think that'd be quite fun. Oh, people are asking if they can cook along with Chris. He hasn't done. He was going to do a live cookery shenanigans with me and Aya, but they didn't get around to it. But at some point, I think maybe I'd love him to do those on Instagram. I think that'd be brilliant. I think the real reason that Chris is desperate to do it is just because at some point he wants to meet Nigella. So I can predict there will be a Nigella cookbook at some point. What other ones have we got that we're thinking about doing? So yeah, the first one's table manners. But yeah, I don't know whether it's one of those things where we don't know whether it's like announced what is going to be cooked or whether it should be a surprise to watch afterwards. So, but what made me laugh was the plan was originally 4 recipes. From 4.
4 recipes.
This is why I can't count words on books. 4 recipes. And he's actually doing 6. So yeah. Now, actually, I'm going to turn this round now that I've had this interrogation, Tom, because Laura Tester has asked a very important question that I think everyone wants to know, which is when will Tom Reads be back on his YouTube channel? She misses you.
Oh, bless. That's very sweet. Thank you very much. No. Oh, you talk to me all the time anyway. Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. When I have got something to say, probably. We're delivering a very big program of work at work at the moment, and that is due to be delivered September time-ish. So I may have some more free time after that. But as Simon knows, because I never stop banging on about it, I've been working a lot on that. So yeah, it hasn't left me a lot of time for anything else, and it also hasn't left me a lot of time for actual reading. So yeah, I will be back. I just don't know when. Hopefully later in the year.
Well, I think what's lovely is people love watching you. I love watching your channel. It's like that was how we became mates, was through your channel. And what was the joy was, it's always really nice when people are like they're on their channel in real life, and you were literally you. So yeah, we had a delightful day going around Cambridge and just giggling for like 10 minutes. I think the bit that it's like it's hard to maintain a channel and have a full-time job and do that, because I know that I get a lot of questions about, is Mum going to have her own channel? Savage Reads Extra.
Are you saying I'm a bit extra?
No, extra, like as in good. I meant it in a good way. Anyway, moving swiftly on, but I think as well, it's that thing, now that I've gone back down to 3 days, I'll find it much easier because it's not just the filming, it's the editing. I think that's the big thing for me. Like, editing will take, I always say, however long you film times by 3 to do a good edit, unless you're very lazy like me, and sometimes you just cut the beginning and the end off because you can't bother. But it's hard work, and the big thing that I think, the point that you've made that I think is really important is, you shouldn't be reading for a channel. You should be reading and then filming what you read if you want to.
And that's what I ended up doing, was reading for a channel and becoming quite stressed by it, and just thinking, right, okay, I've got to read this, I've got to read this, I've got to read this because I need to get another couple of books in, so I'm not going to have enough to talk about on my wrap up, all that kind of stuff. And I just thought, no.
No, you don't want to take the pleasure from it.
And also on my channel, I like to, a big part of what I enjoy about it is vlogging, rather than just doing like, you know, videos talking about books, like vlogging, going for days out and stuff. And we haven't really been able to do that. So, yeah.
No, but I think that's true. I think it's now, I'm excited now that I can go out again, because Shielding stopped on Wednesday. Praise be. But I think I feel like I'm more excited about other stuff I can do. But I think at the same time, the moment it's not fun, just don't do it. Like, I've not enjoyed filming wrap-ups for a while, so I just haven't done them, which I know is like YouTube sort of lifeblood in a way, but it just hasn't been the thing that I wanted to film. Anyway, so people agreeing, don't take the fun out of it, and like, some people are saying editing is the reason I don't post videos. You don't have to edit though. You can edit and like just like cut off the beginning and end. That's dead easy. Sorry, I'm getting slightly, I can't believe I'm saying this in April, sunburn.
Oh.
Moving slightly. Coming very close. Hello. So I don't want to get burnt. So let's wrap up. Speaking of me not being able to do wrap-ups. Any final thoughts on Spring Book HiBearNation? I just want to say thanks to everyone for joining in. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Mum, for joining in along too. And well done, Tom, for doing it, the first ever 3 people on Instagram I've ever been involved with.
Yeah, that was we didn't know if it was going to work. It was quite exciting, but yeah, it worked in the end. Yeah, but I've loved it as well. I've loved seeing everyone's interaction on social media as well. I think it was, you know, when I put out that question earlier in the week about what people are reading, the sheer number of responses I got, it was like, wow, this is brilliant. There's so many people like taking part in this, and actually even people that I know from my past and my life who aren't like bookish people from booktube or bookstagram taking part and telling me what they're reading, like things like that. I think it's just been absolutely brilliant.
I completely agree with that. It's been a total joy. I've absolutely loved it. It's great.
So now we just have to think about summer book HiBearNation. No pressure about us all trying to do it in the log cabin in Shropshire. So on that note, we should go. Remember, Tom and Mum, please don't hang up yet unless you're that desperate to just leave, frankly. But it's been lovely. Thank you to everyone who's been joining in. Thank you all so much for letting us know what you've been reading, tagging us in things. It's been really, 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 really lovely. I've realised I've actually failed at one thing Tom sent me to do, which is to have afternoon tea while I was doing this.
Oh yeah, I did.
But maybe in the summer.
I've got a slice of cake waiting there.
I've got tea, to be fair.
See, look.
Very tiny cup.
I thought I'd misremembered. This is my apple cake. I wish you could smell it.
Oh, nice.
Made it from my garden. It doesn't.
It was lovely from yesterday.
Yeah.
It was very, very nice. But yeah, we will let you know when summer book HiBearNation shall be in due course. But for now, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Tom,
thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.